It has obviously been one of the topics we've been talking about with the nice people here from KURZ about sustainability. But one of the things that has been an outcome of having, let's say, a thinner carrier, we already spoke to Marco a few months ago at the Open Weeks, is that is actually also a productivity gain. Isn't that right?
That's right.
Good to see you again.
Nice to see you again, Morten.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to have you here and to see you here again and to talk more about our slim.
I remember last time I was so fascinated because I mean you can think of when you look at a consumable like this, that it's just a consumable. But when I met you, it is actually you have a huge passion for it because it is beautiful. We can see that in a second, but it has an environmental impact, which is also super. And then it is also that it's a technical achievement to do that. Otherwise, you would have done it years ago, right?
Yes, you're right. I mean, driven by the sustainability discussion, we were starting to reduce carrier thickness. Yeah. So we ended up from previously 12. We ended up now. There's one product at 10, but my favorite is the slim product, which is on a 6-micron carrier. And okay, now we have less wastage in the printing shops, in the printing houses, but beside that, we have a great technical achievement. To me, it's an evolution for every printer because there are so many advantages.
When you talk about advantages, because I was thinking, maybe stupid, right? I was thinking, okay, you have rolls of different sizes, especially when we talk about cold foil, sometimes it can be like very wide rolls of material. And then I would have thought, okay, it is so thin that it must be difficult to keep, you know, in a consistent flow on the wind foils or the eagles of the world, right?
Yeah.
But apparently that is not the case, right?
That's not the case. But you're right. You're saying the exact right thing. Every time we go to a printer and we introduce the slim and we want to make it run, everybody feels like, oh, this must break. And we prove it doesn't break. It is so good. And it only can break if the roller has a damage, but every carrier, no matter which thickness, would break there. No, it's running perfectly, and you get almost double the length than you could put before in your machine. Think about the productivity.
Yeah, because I mean the productivity gain is of course that you don't have to shift rolls as often as you did before, but also as you say that if the foils or the carriers can break anyway, then it's a matter of getting into the technology using, and I guess that also the cold foiling units become better and better to handle these kind of things, right?
Sure. I mean, people are spending quite some money to buy such a device, with voice-saving functions, and the 6-micron should support all that type of voice-saving functions. It should run probably, it should run fast, so you do not have any impact that you have to run slow or whatever. Even you have another advantage. You can run it with less glue. Less glue amount means also less water you bring into the whole system. Less glue is saving money, but also helping the printers to run the press much more stable than before.
And you also showed me when we were at the Open Weeks how, for example, if you have, let's say, a fully foiled sheet for like, I think you had a toothpaste application, because we talk about the environmental impact because you have less carrier. But you also say when you have like the finished product is actually better. It looks better. It looks much better actually, and at the same time, you don't have to spend all the metalization that you essentially just throw away, right? I mean, from that perspective, it's also a sustainable product, right?
It is a very sustainable product because still we are transferring only 2-micron thick carriers.
Is it really that thin?
It's only that thin. I should not say thick. It's that thin. And this makes the whole pack, or keeps the pack recyclable, because you can wash it off afterwards in the typical de-inking, pulping processes. It's going to run through in the right buckets for the sorting process.
So also from a sustainability and recycling perspective, it's much better than, for example, having different types of things. Let's say that you had digital things or whatever thing that goes into the substrate. Here you have something that is easy to handle, basically.
It's easy to handle, and also with less glue. Think about migration topics. So, but I think I still would like to show you one thing. The poster we did for Drupa.
That was where I come with a stupid question. How did you put so many different types of foil on one paper, right?
Hey Morten, I think you should know that very well now. So that's cold transfer. And I love this technology because instead of a lot of different hot stamping colors, you just use the silver as the base, and then you overprint it with CMYK. And we did that poster especially because we got so many questions from printers asking, hey, I want to achieve a little bit of bluish version. I want to achieve a little bit more reddish. How should I overprint? What are the values would you suggest? And we say, we don't suggest in detail. You take this sheet, you take a look, you see with what kind of CMYK setups you can achieve what color with base silver. And on top, what we are showing is, you can see how fine detailed this foil can work, this product works.
Amazing.
And in the same way, you have big solid areas. You have a super good coverage. Then later on, you have a very nice gradation effect. That's new. That was never achieved before. Before this can only be achieved with our slim.
Because for people to understand that basically what you do, the glue that adheres the cold foil is basically a normal printing plate where you have an image, and instead of having ink on it, you have glue on it.
You have glue on it, right.
And therefore you can see that when you have this different types of screening here, basically show that even with a 10%, it is just amazing what you can achieve, right?
This is the most challenging design for cold transfer, because you print the glue dots, and according to the resolution you choose, you have bigger or smaller dots.
Sorry to interrupt, but would that require that you have like let's say a lower screening?
We would recommend a lower screening, but still lower screening does not mean it looks ugly. No. So we would recommend to lower down the screening by half, roughly, very roughly, in the pre-press when you do the plate. And then the dots get a little bit bigger, so you allow the transfer product to stick on a little bit bigger dots, stick and release, stick and release. And usually, I mean, it must look good, and this is number one. And number two, you want to still a high productivity, because think about a lot of dust in between. The next blankets, when you overprint, pick up the dust, and after a couple of sheets, they are splitting back to the printing plate, and you have to stop.
I can tell you, we were actually visiting a printing company in the US that were doing doing packaging for a ROM. I think it was called copper ROM or something like that. And that they used KURZ cold foil and overprint to actually achieve that copper effect using a silver foil. And it was amazing because you start seeing something that is silver on a white piece of paper or cardboard, of course. And then when you see coming out of the machine, you have both the beautiful four-color print, and then you have exactly that copper color that you wanted to achieve, right? It is amazing what you can do, basically.
That's the base idea of the process. And with our new slim version, we really bring the evolution to the printing houses now, because it's a very popular process, and we made it better now. With higher productivity, cost down in production. So you spend less money for glue, for changing, for stopping, and so on. And by the way, finishing this, on the back side,
of course,
we put a lot of tips and tricks. We talk about, because we also have some package, we can have some glue recommendation, blankets recommendation. We talk about recurses. You see the difference between 12 and 6. And we have the lovely program, the Dream Composer, where you can simulate cold transfer jobs in the beginning, how it would look like if you use cold transfer and overprint it. That's a great thing.
Thank you, sir.
Morten, it was a pleasure seeing you here.
Always, see you, I mean.